So it's Friday, October 24th, and you guys have taken a quiz on Unit 3 in the first 7 lessons. So now you've got this worksheet sitting in front of you, and it's asking you to find the slope from the table. So you've done this a little bit, but probably not enough, so we just need to practice it some. So let's do that. We're going to take each of these and figure out how much does it take to go from here to here is 5. It's increasing by 5 on the y side each time. And then on the x side, it's increasing by 1 each time. So our slope is 5 over 1, which is 5. All right, so a different problem. Go over to number 2. Here, it's decreasing by 6, decreased by 6, decreased by 6, decreased by 6, decreased by 6. And then over here, it's decreasing by 2. To go from -4 to -6 is decreasing by 2. -6 to -8 decreases by 2. -8 to -10 decreases by 2. -10 to -12 decreases by 2. So it's all the same. So our slope begins as vertically -6 over -2. And then when you simplify that, our slope for this table is +3. So here's an interesting one. We have no change in all of these 4's. We're going from 0, or excuse me, no change from 4 to 4 to 4 to 4. No change at all. So that's our vertical. So over here is our horizontal changes, and it's increasing by 1 each time. So I have a 0, no change, over 1. And then when you simplify that, that's 0. So what that would look like, this graph in particular, your y-intercept is 4. It's going through the y-axis at 4. Pretend that's a straight line. So all the y's are 4. No matter what your x is, your y is always 4. So that's what that looks like. The equation would look like y is always 4. Let's see. Okay, we'll do one of these on the back. So from -8 to -5 is a gain of 3. From -5 to -2 is a gain of 3. -2 to +1 is a gain of 3. 1 to 4 is a gain of 3. 4 to 7 is a gain of 3. So all of my vertical changes are 3. On the x side, my horizontal changes, that's increasing by 5. This is increasing by 5. From 0 to 5 is increasing by 5. From 5 to 10 increases by 5. 10 to 15 increases by 5. So my slope in this situation is 3 to 5. Find the slope of the following lines. Okay, so we've done quite a few of those yesterday. So this is where you draw the vertical side of the triangle. You count the side lengths. Make sure you pay attention to the numbers. And then your horizontal side lengths. So it's always the vertical to the horizontal. And then this one really doesn't really fit with the slope that we're practicing here. But we plot the x, -3, and then -2. And we're going to label that point A. And then it has 5 more points there for you to label. to graph and label. And that's all this one is asking you to do. So I've given you a couple of examples there to help you go by and get you the rest of it done. So then the next one, we are given the equation and now we get to graph them this time. So our slope is 1/4 and our y-intercept is -1. So we start on the y-axis at -1 and then we're going to vertically go up 1, horizontally go over 4, both of which are positive. Now that's as far as I can go in that direction, but I can also go down 1 and left 4, because we talked about yesterday, -1 and -4 together in a ratio is equal to 1 and 4 positive, because we're dividing them. Here, I want to remind you that the slope in this situation is actually a -1. And when I write that as far as vertical to horizontal, we can put a -1 for the vertical and a +1 for the horizontal. So I have one negative, so I'm going to keep that in my slope. Okay. 2 negatives when we divide them make a positive. So I only have one negative, so it's still negative. All right. My y-intercept is 2. So -1 vertical, +1 horizontal. Remember, negative slopes go down from left to right. I repeat that process until I get to the ends of the graph. There you go. That's as much as I can get that direction. And then I can also go the other direction. +1 vertical, -1 horizontal. That's an equal ratio. And then connect your dot. Use a tool to help you connect the dots in a straight line. Similarly here, we've got a +1 slope and a +1 y-intercept. Here you've got a 4/3 slope, so 4 vertical for 3 horizontal, but make sure you see that this is a negative for y-intercept, so you're going to start down here. Number 6, y equals 4. Some of you might be a little weirded out because I can't find the slope. It doesn't tell me there is no x, so how can I pick a number in front of the x if there is no x, right? But we do know that the y-intercept is 4. This is saying y is always 4. So here's y-intercept. If x is 1, y is 4. If x is 2, y is 4. If x is 3, y is 4. If x is 6, y is 4. If x is -4, y is 4. If x is -2, y is 4. If x is -6, y is 4. So hopefully you figured out at this point it's a straight line. So what slope do we have here? It's not a question mark. The slope here is 0. Okay, number 9. Number 9 is like number 6. It's going through a different place, but it's like number 6. All right, number 8's a little bit different, so I'll show you that one. This time it says x is 5. X is always 5. That means when y is 0, x is 5. No matter what the y is, x is 5. Now something that helps me to keep these straight is if I see this variable, then I know it's going through the x-axis. at that point. So that's something that helps me. If that makes sense to you, if that's logical to you, then by all means, use that strategy. And then there's the last ones. Okay, so I want you guys to get in a groove with identifying the slope from the equation, identifying the y-intercept from the equation, and then being able to graph that. So looking at the notes that I gave you on Wednesday, make sure you use those notes, and that will help you out. Again, if you finish all of this after you've done the quiz, you have some extra credit options. There's 2 assignments in Edgenuity. One is with proportional relationships, and the other is with graphing in a variety of contexts. Both of these are offered as extra credit options for you on the Unit 3 test. They will need to be finished and completed with passing grades by next Thursday when you take your Unit 3 test. And that's all I have. Thanks for listening.